Optimize, repeat. Build. Optimize. Repeat. Well, I'm not quite sure what the fuck that kind of opener was, but that pretty much sums up exactly what the game Satisfactory is, which is the game we're going to be talking about today. Take Factorio and add in some survival crafting into it, mix it all together, and you basically have this game. Oh, you might want to sprinkle a little bit of Epic Game bullshit in there, but now it's on Steam, so it doesn't really matter about that, but still. Satisfactory is the game we're going to be talking about today. I also want to touch on the fact that I understand that I'm wearing a PlayStation shirt and my button-up. I did not plan this, it just seemed to happen. This was the shirt I was wearing today when I was recording this, and I put my button up over it, and I was like, oh, I'm double PlayStation today. Whatever. I also got a haircut because I couldn't fucking take it anymore. So, all that aside, we're going to be talking about Satisfactory today. Hilariously enough, there really isn't a story to this game yet, but I'm going to be going over some finer details here. So, I don't really think I need to put a time cap in, but if you really don't want to know anything about the background, then I guess don't play the game, because they pretty much give you everything I'm about to talk about in the first 2 minutes. So, here we go! Now, if you haven't had the pleasure of playing this game, I fucking envy you, because the game has a very strange way of immersing you in such a short amount of time. You will get so invested in this if you take hold of it, and my god, the tentacles come out of the monitor and grab your brain, because it will not let go of you. It will put you in this grinding phase of reality where you'll forget about your kids, your children, your work, your life, your family. Everything will be forgotten to the sands of time because Satisfactory is all you can think of now. But most importantly, it will make you forget about your life for hours at a time. And honestly, at the end of the day, isn't that all that entertainment really should be? Making you forget about whatever you're doing that day, whatever stresses are in your life. The main fact of reality sucking major toad chode. But regardless, Satisfactory. Now, normally I try to stay away from early access games just because it's kind of mean to judge them beforehand, but this one caught my eye, and to be entirely honest with you, I think they have main chunks of the game there, so it's fair to review. So, let's talk about it. Now, like I said, I usually start these off with a quick breakdown of the story, but again, there's no story. You're a man, woman, I don't know, it's hard to tell from the body shapes. Your ODST dropped into a poor, innocent map that only has creatures with little to no intelligence, and as a Fiskit employee, it is your job to suck up every resource you find and make the best products and more advanced parts. This all leads up to building the monstrous space elevator to complete the project assembly. So there's the finish line, sending parts up into space to make your company happy. And when big company capitalist cat is happy, he showers you with praise piss. A golden shower, if you will, in the form of new buildings and equipment to use in the preying on the planet. The first choice you have to make in the game is which location on the map to start with. Now, since I somewhat knew what I was doing from the series that's currently going on the channel right now, I stayed away from the big green and savanna areas because they're for beginner plebs. But then I saw the desert area. Also, it's advertised as the worst place to begin due to the inability to find wood and food. I also thought,
I don't like sand.
The game starts off simply with building a base of operations, and then bam, you have your first few production lines for iron, copper, and limestone, each essential for building bigger, better parts. You then start sending the parts up in a drop pod to unlock more buildings. There's the fucking incentive, everybody. Unlocking that new tool or that new building or that new equipment, and plus that little reward jingle. God, it's enough to give you a good chode. Like I said before, you even have to build a fucking space elevator to send more advanced parts up into the stratosphere. And honestly, I don't know who's taking the parts or who's stealing them from us, but as long as Big Daddy Capitalist Cat is happy, I'm happy, because he gives me loads of golden piss to continue my operation on the planet. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time describing the buildings and shit, but I am going to break down the game into power eras. So first you start off with your biomass burners. In this era, you must run around and grab sticks, leaves, and alien guts to burn and make power. Not a lot of potential of expansion with a small amount of power. Then we go through the coal era, which gives us our first taste of pipes and head lift, and if you aren't a fucking plumber, it can be confusing as shit. Water can't go up a goddamn slight incline, which is dumb, but I don't have a joke for this, so I just wanted to mention it. Now, the coal era is actually my favorite part of the game because you're constantly trying to find coal deposits that are right next to water sources, and you're also taking those same coal deposits and finding iron deposits to smelt them into steel beams and steel pipes, which will only further the industrial fucking revolution that's about to happen on this goddamn planet. In this era, you gain access to more equipment to make your life easier, including an upgrade from the small taser for the bunghole to the cow prod of pleasure. And yes, of course I know, the aliens then started dying from these pleasure rods. Definitely not from 1,000 watts of electricity frying their organs and nerves. It's definitely from pleasure. Then, the American in me was called. The oil era of power began. I found a large deposit of oil and I had to build a considerably long pipe structure to get it back to my base. I had a lot of fun patrolling my oil line with my pleasure prod and defending it in the name of power. In this age, you're also given bombs and a functional gun through the separate research junction, so patrolling my oil line with my gun in one hand and bombs in the other, let's just say that I was at peace. Now, after the oil age ends, the early access part of the game kicks in, so the game pretty much hits a wall because they only have 8 tiers of research for you to be able to get through. So, unfortunately, the game kind of lets go of you. Your immersion is lost, mainly because you lose all incentives because there's no longer that further reward along the path. That's it. You've done everything. And yes, there are nuclear power plants you can build, but without further incentive to build the nuclear power plants, I was getting all the power I ever needed from my oil refineries, so there's no real point to make nuclear reactors. I did make a nuclear reactor, but it took like 10 extra hours to make one of them, and honestly, yeah, it gives you a shitload of power, but at the same time, I can't go anywhere with that power now because there's nothing further that I need to make, so in all honesty, it was kind of pointless. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. With each launch of your drop pod, you are getting further and further away from immersion because with each delivery of that drop pod or with each ceiling of your space elevator, you're actually getting closer to the end, which is a good and bad thing. It's good because you can get back to your life. It's bad because the game falls flat and because it's not entirely done yet. Now, with all that being said, the amount of content and work that's been put into this game already from conception, it is clearly immense. You can make trucks, tractors, and trains to autopilot and bring you resources from further away if you don't want to waste resources on building longer conveyor belts. Everything in the game is streamlined, the snapping of belts to slots, the merging, the splitting, overclocking machines. The whole game is incredibly polished. Honestly, the game only crashed on me once and it stemmed from the game autosaving my progress, so when I hopped back onto my map, it started where my save was, so I didn't even have a problem with it. So there's all the goals and incentives, right? But how does it play? How does it play, Noah? We're dying to know! Okay, first off, calm the fuck down. But if you must know, smooth as fuck. The game only starts bogging down once you have completely eaten the planet's ore deposits and have factories all over the map. The game is addictive. Several times I told myself that I was going to build this facility, and then I would feel like I need to automate that facility and streamline it as best I could, but as soon as I did that, I had enough resources gathered to get the next set of research. This would go on for hours and hours. I shit you not, I played one day from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. And the total amount of time that I put into the footage you're seeing is 37 or 38 hours by myself on this one map. Not even mentioning the series I was also recording at the time with my friends. All I have to do is pick a new place to start and bam, the addiction starts once again. A great game to play if you have nothing to do with your life, because the game will quickly become your life. The alien life is a bit buggy to be entirely honest, but they range from small boars that charge you until pleasure to death, or gentle giant whale horse things. Honestly, I have no fucking clue what that is, but it doesn't mind my presence, so I have named him Bob. However, there is one type of alien that scares the absolute fuck out of me. This motherfucker. I hate spiders, and this thing scared that actual piss out of me the when I first met one. Not a fun time! Now, this game is clearly very polished and well made, and an awesome time sink, so I'm really excited to see where they go with the game next. Normally, I like to talk about graphics and sound design, but since this game is early access, I don't want to judge the game on what it is until it's a finished product. However, at this state in the game, I believe the cartoonish aesthetic the game carries throughout suits it very well. The art style conveys a certain emotion of calm but focused. The visuals are always stunning, and climbing to a high ridge to get a look at all you've built is fucking jizz-worthy. As far as sound design, the game consists mainly of tracks that are just ambient noise, but the build noises, alien grunts, and subtle sounds play a huge role in giving the game a little more of a consequence-free cartoon feel, and I love it. You can play by yourself like I did, or you can play with friends like the series on the channel is currently. It comes out a new episode every Saturday, so if you want to see my playthrough of it, go watch it. I swear, there's already 2 episodes up right now. I think. Yes. There's 2 episodes of my series of it right now on the channel, and there's a new one coming every Saturday, so if you have incentive for that. This game used to be an Epic Game exclusive, but it went over to Steam, and whenever it went over to Steam, that's when I purchased it. And I gotta tell you, this game has exploded ever since it went to Steam. If you guys enjoy Subnautica, Factorio, or any other kind of survival crafting game, I think you'll enjoy this one too. It's got a lot of aspects of all the other games that you'd expect to have in a survival crafty kind of feel, but it's also incredibly addictive and very fun. I highly recommend this game to anybody who meets the following criteria. 1, you have no life. 2, you cannot ever go to bed on time. And 3, if you just want to sit back, chill, and vibe out to the universe, I think this is one of the games that you're mainly going to want to focus on. Honestly, this game is pretty much, if you want to turn your brain off and, well, after you get the hang of it, if you want to turn your brain off and listen to a couple podcasts, I think you'd enjoy this game very much. But that's just coming from me. And honestly, if you don't like survival crafting games, then I think you still ought to give this one a try, because it does not fit a lot of this criteria that a crafting survival game meets. For example, there's no food or water or anything like that. There's no sleep bar. There's nothing. It's just crafting, and it's honestly super addictive. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Game Grind. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for spending your Wednesday here with me, or whatever day you're watching this. I hope you like this video. If you do, please hit like. If you have a different intake on, or output, whatever you want to say, the game's in my head. If you guys have a different outtake on this game, be sure to comment it down below and I'll talk to you. I really will. I'll talk to you. If you guys post something down below, I will definitely respond to you. Thank you so much again for watching this video, and next week we will be talking about another great game that I hope all of you have similar opinions on, because the more news that comes out about it, the more I want to kill it. So anyway, until next week, thank you guys again. This has been Game Grind. My name is NoNoNoah, and I appreciate your viewship. I will see all you no bros later. Peace for now.